All right, in this video, real quick, we're going to talk about typography. That is changing the styles, right? Because literally you have control over everything. We pre-built these, but they use the same extremely flexible engines so that you can style these however it is you really wish. There are just two versions, right? You've already made that selection when you bought. One has this full width banner, and you can decide how high you want it to be and whether it's images, videos, and whatever combination. And the only other kind of main difference to these engines are whether they use banner blocks. And by that, I mean this, okay? These are banner blocks, all right? The banner blocks force the top banner to be smaller. You can decide if the banner blocks are on the right or on the left, and you can decide whether they're full width like this or if they're cut in half so that you actually have one here and another one there. You can decide if they say read more, take that out just to make it clear or not to click on. But the idea is if you have a number of specific services or things and you really want people to see it, here's a study that was done earlier. A lot of people said, how do we get people to our submenu links faster? They're not coming, often enough. Statistically, more people land here. Not so many make it to these, but these are important pages. What we found was no one knows that they're there. No one knows they're there until they happen to start doing this. Now, people don't want to do that. They're just going to go like this to see if they can find what they want. And hopefully they see it in the top half. Well, the great advantage of banner blocks is getting your most important information out in the open right away where it can be seen right away. And you can go really big with that or just partially or whatever you want to do. And these are easy enough to adjust. You can adjust the image, you can adjust the wording, you can adjust where these point or click to when you click the buttons, or just click the whole thing, or click the wording. That, like, wherever you click on here, it should go to the same place automatically, right? But there you go. So, and that's obviously a sidebar. Okay. So how do you control colors and so forth? That's, besides that difference, okay, like in this case, you cannot go full width with the banner all the way. There is just functionally different. Banner blocks change the way the top banner can operate. Okay. But that's the only real difference between the engines. Everything else you can work with. Okay, so let's take a look at how great that is because you have tremendous control over the styling. There it is, theme style and typography. This one page alone. So far we've already covered the general settings. That's stuff like your admin email, website title, favicon, logo, etc. Whatever you want your logo to be will replace that logo. Okay, and canonicals and crawlers and everything else. But then you say, as a matter of fact, I do not want the crawler to index roofers 3 because it should not be indexing roofers 3. All right. Now, because it's just, a demo, right? It's not a real site, it's a demo. All right, having said that, let's go to type, and we covered theme settings, of course, is everything on that front page, everything that makes your theme what it is, through the pre-footer and the footer. It's all these things here. We just covered this in the last video. So the next item to cover, whoops, sorry, is typography, okay? You, again, ignore this stuff at the top because it's been replaced by these two functions, which are just so much easier to deal with, okay? But there you go. Update theme style means if you make any changes to any of these, hit that, okay? Look at this, website main color. You can go universal with the colors, millions of color options, literally whatever you want to drag and drop to, okay? You can do that. Also, you can say if you like that color, whatever you picked, you can copy it. And that way, you can just simply paste it wherever else you would like it, okay? And that way you're making your changes. So if I did hit this, it would make those changes, okay? Body background color, okay? That's for all of the white space all the way out in the backgrounds. What color should that be? If you want to make it a real light gray or brown or green or blue or something, you can do that. Or yellow, you can do that to add dimension. Do you want a body background image? If you have an image, You can have it either fill up the whole page or it can start somewhere, left top, right top, center, bottom, whatever. And you can decide if it's supposed to repeat horizontally, vertically, or both, or not. Okay, so you can create gradients or do whatever you want, with this kind of option. Body text color. So if you don't like the body text just the way it is, right? Like this, which is kind of this, you can literally change the body text color. Now keep in mind, that's different than link colors, and that's different than link hover color. When you hover over a link, it gets a little darker on you, okay? In this case, body text font. You have all the fonts in the world, tons of fonts to choose between, and you can decide the normal height of the font and whether it should be bolded or not, and whether it should be italicized or not. And that's what all these do for everything. Heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, right? The fonts, the sizes, italicized, bolded or not, and what color they are, and so on. So you can totally control those. You got 4 variations for heading. So you can have the main heading on the page and then the sub paragraphs with their own headings. And then if you even have sub paragraphs, you could go a little deeper yet. And then you could have an alternative like heading 4, which might look like heading 1, but you want it to be a heading 4. Because for Google, you only want one heading 1 on the entire page. So Google can say, aha, that's what the main page is supposed to start with. That's what it's really all about. Okay. Then you can have your paragraph font in paragraph color. And links are different than words. So there's link color and link hover color. Okay. And you can go all the way as far as you want. You can make changes and just see what effect that has and go just, see what that does for you. Okay. Now, breadcrumbs. If the breadcrumbs are on, they might not be. Like breadcrumbs in this case would have the arrows that point further and further, deeper and deeper into the pages. They're off. But if they were on, you can control all that. Header style. This is for the main header. Header background, company text font. So literally this stuff right here, what font is the header? Okay. The text style and everything else. Before text, contact, and SMS background color, and the SMS font and text color, like for a mobile phone, how does that look on a mobile phone? You can control all of it. Then there's navigation style settings. Look how many controls there are simply for that. And that is literally because you can control the banner, the font color, the hover color, the drop down fonts and colors and hover colors and background colors and everything else. You can literally decide all of these things in this section here. And yes, there are opacity settings for things. That's useful. Banners. In this case, that's the banner, okay? And it's got words and clickable links, So what do we need to know about that? Whatever, if you have a background image, which is different than the image, okay? The image we already did on the other page, okay? But the background image would be something even behind there. You're rarely going to use it, okay? Probably not. But, and background color, same thing. But take a look at the height. This banner is set to a height of 500. You can make yours set to a height of 1080. Cover the entire main page or some such thing. And you can, again, have a video start when somebody lands on the page instead of an image. Okay? And you can do everything with that. There's even a background opacity, anything from 0.0 to 1.0, okay? For 100% opacity, right? There's fonts and colors and buttons, this, that, and the other, hovers, texts, borders, so on. So you can really get technical. This thing can have a border cover that's different. It can have a hover color that's different. The print can have a different hover color as well as the button, as well as the border. So you can get as far you can, and what you do generally are just small changes. It just makes it look a little more professional because you go out of your way to make those small changes. Okay, so whatever you feel you like, you can do. And then everything else, the about section at the top is this section here. Okay, so you can control these fonts and colors and so on differently than everything else. And then there's the services section style for all your main services. Okay, that's coming past the pages, and you get into these things here. Okay, and so on. So we can just keep going. Features, logos, sidebar. You have total control over the sidebar. Every little thing you ever wanted to change about the sidebar. If you don't like the sidebar and you want to change it, go ahead. No problem at all. Okay. So you can do anything you want with the sidebar. Then the map section, so on and so forth. So you have literally all the controls you could possibly want. Pre-footer, footer, even your back to top button has 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a possible custom style coding if you want to paste it in here. That would be 5. Different controls just for the back to top button. Just make sure to update. The only other thing to point out at this time beyond typography is that if you think about it, every time you make a big change to typography, use color palettes. Once you choose a color, go to an online color palette. Look up color palette, right? And that way you can find related colors, okay? And that way, when you paste in one color or something, like your base color would be what, just go get your color, figure it out, okay? Then, I forget whether that would work here. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Okay. Okay, good. Then guess what? You can decide all your stuff. Do you want it to show you like a triad? It can do that, and it's showing you related colors that are totally useful. Do you want it to go further? You can do that. You want to go really far? And then do you want to bring it down on it? So you can keep changing it to make the base color darker or lighter or whatever you think, right? So anyway, by doing this, you can decide really good colors that coordinate with this color. So what kinds of blues are good with this color? What kinds of grays or yellows are good with that color? Okay. That's the kind of thing you can figure out here. And you can always take some like light color, apply it as the base color. Now that that's the base color, figure out your other colors related to it. And that way you can grab really good color schemes, okay? Once you've done that, guess what? Once you save all of that and you made your website totally different and interesting, maybe that's for your Valentine's Day special or your Christmas special or your Easter special, guess what? Download that sample feed file. When you do, it downloads your entire build, everything in your whole dashboard, everything that makes this whole website what it is in Excel. It will download all of the settings in Excel, and you can rename that to whatever you want, like Valentine's Day special. And that way you can go back in here now that you did that and totally change everything else for Christmas, and then download that one and rename it Christmas special. Then whenever you want to import any one of those, import it, and it will overwrite everything you have with that upload. Okay. And if you're scared of overwriting everything you have, just download it first. Give it a name, current, March 2nd, 2018, normal. And then go ahead and import your Christmas special or Valentine's Day special, whatever. And that way you can continue to do things with those. All right. So yeah, you can make these different builds and you can make them for partners and franchisees. You can make them similar but different color schemes that all fall under the same umbrella, icon, or logo or whatever you want. So yeah, you really have lots of opportunity with these panels, and it's really easy to operate actually, which means that anyone in your office can probably be trained to handle this. And that way you don't need to use outside sources to make little changes you would like. All right.